Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the midnight hour, so to speak. Tonight we're going to be talking about, oh my God, is WarnerMedia in trouble? Is it over? Is it all done? I don't know, but we're going to find out right now. I swear, like, I had a better intro in my head, and then it just went away from me, like, as I was recording it. So there we go on that one, folks. How you guys doing tonight? It's currently 11:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's nearly midnight here. Welcome to the Nearly Midnight Movie Chat. And today, today, it's been a day sending shockwaves through Hollywood. Actually, not really. Not really at all. You figured more people would be talking about it. Maybe it's Sunday, maybe they took the day off. But as news started to spread throughout Hollywood this afternoon, I noticed there was a distinct lack of coverage from a lot of the smaller players, even though Variety was very much diving in. And that has everything to do with this new apparent merger that could be announced as early as tomorrow, with AT&T looking to kind of offload WarnerMedia and its entertainment assets to Discovery? It's a little crazy, don't you think? It's a little wild, a little bit weird, considering where we find ourselves just in the recent acquisition of Time Warner from AT&T just a couple of years ago. But apparently things aren't looking very good over there, and they're looking for a way to consolidate in order to free up some funds and to make sure that they don't go tits up with a bad investment. And I think that's going to be kind of where things go moving into it. And a lot of people I've seen really trying to, like, again, frame this back around Snyder, right? Like, every day it's Snyder. Have you prayed to your Lord and Savior, Zack Snyder, today, folks? Have you bowed at the "we're not worthy" altar? Have you gone out there and said 25 or Sword the Snyderverses and 18 Us United while beating yourself with a wooden stick? That's my question. It's Sunday. It's the holy day. Who knows? And I say that I'm being facetious for a point. This has nothing to do with Zack Snyder. This has nothing to do with the Snyderverse. This has nothing to do with any of that, not even remotely in the equation. So finding a way to kind of work it in, it's a marketing tactic, right? It's a marketing tactic. You know, it's like churches saying you can find God anywhere. He's underneath that rock. He's behind every tree. He's in the giggle of every small child. But come to church once a week and give us 10%, net, not gross. Just saying, it's like not everything got to kind of go back to that. You can market it different ways, but that's where we find ourselves. Sorry, I'm going to piss so many people off with that joke right there too. Very jokey. Very jokey. Anyway, Geeks here asking an interesting question right off the bat. Should I cancel Discovery Plus or not? I would wait for the initial announcement, but I do feel the two are going to merge, and we're going to go into the article. H Bart's here, $5. Thank you. He prays at the altar of Jarbo. Says, how does this affect the DC? I don't think it's going to affect DC. They already have a plan. They've already paid J.J. Abrams $500 million. That plan is going to stay in place because the people who run Discovery, they're not feature people. They're not Hollywood people. They're television people. And I'd say they're not Hollywood, but they still need movie theaters. Ladies and gentlemen, you still need movie theaters. You still got to make that money. Godzilla vs. Kong is the first movie this year, 2021, domestically, that could crack. It will crack $100 million. Last year, 2020, God, it was Bad Boys for Life, which was the first movie to crack $100 million in the U.S. And I believe it went on to be the highest grossing movie in the United States until I don't know, Demon Slayer is what I'm being told. If I get that wrong, RJ will just show up and be like, it was Demon Slayer. And it was awesome. Because he's a fan of anime. Anyway, I hope H Bart's here with another $2. Says, Zach is not our Lord. You are. Well, listen, do I have the ego? Sure. But do I have the wherewithal, the constitution, or the desire? The answer to that is no, because I just want to play video games and hang out. There we have on that one. Ad Hiraj here says AT&T and Warner Brothers should merge with Universal Studios. That would actually, I'm not going to lie, that is probably the best bet, because NBC Universal is owned by Comcast. Universal theme parks did really well by signing that Harry Potter land deal. The Wizarding World of Harry Potter is massive, massive for Universal Studios. My girlfriend and I are planning a trip to Walt Disney World in the next couple of years with our daughters. And even she was like, we can't go to Orlando and just go to Disney. We have to go to Harry Potter. And I agree, because I want to see it. I really want to see it. That's the point. There are IPs that Warner Brothers has that would be great. That would be great for that kind of theme park experience. Tie it in with Universal. Why don't we have a Game of Thrones world? Imagine all the incest and jousting. Florida, it would just feel completely like Florida at that point in time. You know, Geeks here says, I'm surprised Paramount not merging. Paramount has Viacom, which is a telecommunications company. So there's a lot of that going on there, right? AT&T bought Time Warner, which was a telecommunications company, for in part the Time Warner infrastructure, as well as to get into the streaming game. And that's why they wanted Warner Brothers, and that's why we started hearing about all of this IP mining. But here's what they weren't expecting. They weren't expecting COVID. So even though they're ahead of their projections for HBO Max, they still need theatrical to bring a lot of that money in. And this shrinking 45-day window, we'll have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. James, I might do call-ins down the road. The nightly ones are going to be shorter episodes, shorter streams. So there's that. Jacob here asks, who should get Warner Brothers, Amazon or Apple? I would say Apple, because they need the content. There's a lot of content on Apple that apparently is pretty good, but no one's watching because they're terrible at marketing outside of their own infrastructure. There's an ecosystem within the Apple fan base, right? They're an ecosystem, echo chamber, whatever you want to call it. Like the people there, they know about it. Otherwise, they don't. Let's see here. Ash Eternal, $2 super chat. Thank you, Ash. Says, have you heard of Blart Side of the Mall? Is that a Paul Blart thing? Because that's kind of cool. Chile says, I'm trying to send a super chat, but it won't let me. I'll tell you what, dude, you can PayPal me. I don't think there's a link in here, but I think it's like paypal.com/mundane matter or something. And you can PayPal me and I'll get the email and then I can look at it that way. Or streamlabs.com/$3 theater. But let me know if you're going to do that and I'll bring it up. Or Cash App, $Matt Jarba. There's a lot of different ways without giving Google 30%. That's the worst part about super chats. I appreciate it and thank you guys seriously. Like right now, just the way everything is, super chats are kind of helping really pay my mortgage. But Google takes their 30%, and I feel like I just get blasted with no lube every single night. Anyway. All right, yeah, there's that. So we got about 50 people in here right now, so that's pretty great. Let's go into the article. We'll just go in balls deep and talk about this thing, right? We're gonna bring it up. I brought up the Deadline article here. I thought that might be a little bit more on the side of everything that's going on. All right, so let's take a look. All right, AT&T exploring combination of media assets with Discovery, and this is again, it's a fascinating business move, predominantly because what it is going to do, in my opinion, would be taking what Discovery has, which is a lot of content and a lot of infrastructure and a lot of access, and merging that in with HBO Max. I mean, imagine if HBO Max was like, hey, we have all the latest Food Network content here, right? Or because I'm a true crime junkie, I like informative murder porn. And they're like, we have the latest and greatest from IDTV right here on HBO Max. And I'm like, well, I don't got to get IDTV Plus then. Cool. This is where I get my true crime content. This is where I watch my informative murder porn. So there's a lot of pluses to that, by the way. There's a lot of pluses. All right, let's just kind of zoom in a little bit here. All right, so AT&T and Discovery are pursuing a merger of their entertainment assets that would reshape the media business, particularly the fast-growing realm of streaming. Is all streaming. That's where the money is, folks. A person familiar with the situation confirmed to Deadline that talks have been ongoing. The configuration is said to be a joint venture with details still being finalized. WarnerMedia had already been talking with NBC Universal about a similar arrangement in recent months, though those discussions have not borne fruit. And the reason why is because of Comcast. Now, Peacock, and probably because of Peacock too. Like, would they close down HBO Max or would they merge Peacock in with HBO Max? All things considered, merging Peacock in with HBO Max would be the best move, because what does Peacock have that it lords over everybody? It's like, hey man, we got The Office. We got Parks and Rec, but most importantly, we got The Office. So they got The Office. That's still a big show. That was huge for Netflix. Now, HBO Max has The Big Bang Theory, right? Who cares about The Big Bang Theory? It's nerd blackface. Prove me wrong. It's what it is. Anyway, you bring over The Office to HBO Max, that's a big deal. All this is telling me right now is that AT&T is realizing that HBO Max is not growing in the way that they want it to, or when it gets to needing to be a worldwide rollout, they want more content that will be able to pull those kind of people in. The Office is a big hit worldwide. That would make sense for Peacock. But now we're talking Discovery, and that's also big content worldwide. So Bloomberg here, citing unidentified sources, had the first report on the combination, indicating that a deal could be announced as soon as this week. Now we're hearing as soon as maybe possibly tomorrow morning. Like when I wake up in the morning, we could be living in a whole new entertainment world. Now, reps from Discovery and AT&T obviously declined to comment, but plenty of uncertainty remains as to how the assets would be combined. And this is according to a person familiar with the discussions. Said that they were not guaranteed to lead to a deal. Discovery brings a raft of well-established networks like HGTV, Food Network, TLC, and Discovery, and also History Channel. But let's be fair here. I mean, TLC, History Channel, those aren't real anymore. Those are just full of really terrible reality television. And it's all god-awful content. It's a garbage, cheaply produced, inexpensive, easily disposable content. But the Food Network, on the other hand, EVOO, baby. And also, WarnerMedia does have True TV. That is their brand. So that could easily go into like this kind of thing too, right? A whole collection, if you will, of these kind of situations. Anyway, the executive suite of the combined entity would be crowded, and that structure is said to be another area of flux. Discovery is led by the hard-charging David Zaslav, a one-time top sales exec at NBC who steered Discovery to global growth. Jason Kilar, the founding CEO of Hulu and a former Amazon exec, arrived at WarnerMedia a year ago. He has made a number of aggressive moves and dramatically restructured the company to help position itself to the digital future. Again, streaming. Him coming off of Hulu and where Hulu is now, he has an understanding for what needs to be done. I think Kilar will stay within the conversation. Both companies have recently joined the streaming fray in significant ways. WarnerMedia launched HBO Max a year ago. Weird to think it's been a year. Discovery rolled out Discovery Plus in January and soon started expanding it globally. HBO Max is still not global. It is a year old, people, and it's still not global. That is the key thing to keep in mind here. That is where I think HBO Max is having the biggest problem, is the worldwide rollout. I know they're supposed to go global next month. It does say that right here. But I think, again, having that content with Discovery would help it with that cheaper ad-supported tier, as well as really speaking to people in a number of those areas. It's also possible that that Discovery Plus is not doing what they want. There's about 15 million worldwide users. Not bad for that, but maybe they think that they can consolidate that and make more money in the long run. Now, the new entity would be based on pro forma numbers from 2020, total revenue of $40 billion. It's $12 billion in advertising revenue and $12 billion in spending on programming would rank it in the top echelon of both categories. Bundling, which has already begun at companies like Disney and is widely seen as inevitable in the cutthroat streaming sector, could well be an option in a combined entity. That's what I'm talking about here. Discovery Plus focuses entirely on unscripted programming HBO Max has played into that realm to some degree, but scripted fare remains its bread and butter because unscripted programming only really speaks to one aspect of our entertainment. But at the same time, there's a market there, and to also be fair, unscripted programming is a load of shit. It's all scripted. Nothing you see on TV is ever real, by the way. Ever. When they do those confessionals, right? And like in reality shows, and you got like one girl like, oh, that Barbara was a bitch. Okay. She was just a two-faced, two-timing, herpes-riddled bitch. That's Barbara. That's probably like the 8th take. The first time could have been, yeah, Barbara, she sucks. I don't like Barbara. She's stupid. I don't want to, whatever. And then the producer's like, okay, hold on here. Karen, try it again, but really sell it. You know what I mean? Like really get in there. Like, what do you think you could call her to summarize how you feel? I could call her a bitch. Perfect. You're not calling her the C word or anything like that. Can you throw in a herpes jab because she's from Jersey and that Valtrex flows like candy there? We need that. Okay. Drama. Go. That's how it is. They reshoot all that stuff. There's scripting for all that stuff. The editors, they cut together a lot of it, but a lot of it is crafted by the producers. Anyway, after major stumbles in the months after it launched, HBO Max has gained traction of late, adding 2.7 million subs in the first quarter to reach 44.2 million in combination with linear HBO. And that again is a problem because the linear HBO is not crossing over. The bigger number is linear HBO, but they're combining it to make it seem bigger because they want to make it, they don't want to say anything that might damage the sale and hurt their standing with getting info from the company. Executives have credited Warner Brothers films premiering on HBO Max at the same time they reach theaters, as well as buzzy shows like The Undoing and Max originals like The Flight Attendant. Sure. Warner Brothers film operation under Emmerich has made steady progress during a time of industry upheaval. Really? I mean, like there's some stuff to be said about that we can get to at another time. Anyway, films on the studio slate like Godzilla vs. Kong and Mortal Kombat have managed to pull in sizable box office while also enticing HBO Max subscribers. Mortal Kombat's like not even at like 40 million yet, but GVK is, again, it's nearing the 100 million. GVK has taken in almost 100 million and more than 400 million worldwide, despite theaters in many regions still being shuttered, along with 40% in North America. People like Godzilla vs. Kong, so we're going to get more of that. Now, the report is hitting as both companies prepare to deliver high-stakes pitches to advertisers during the annual week of upfront presentations. This year's upfronts will be virtual due to COVID-19. Discovery's presentation is on Tuesday. WarnerMedia's is on Wednesday. A deal would be a major surprise for AT&T, which has made a number of moves in the past 3 years to chip away at the sizable debt it piled up from the acquisition of Time Warner. That $81 billion deal, which closed in 2018 after federal antitrust trial. Yeah, Trump was really against it. And what I heard at the time was it had a lot to do with CNN and Jeff Zucker and him hating CNN because Time Warner owned CNN and everything else. And he didn't want it getting out to more people. I don't know. However you want to look at that. Now, net debt for AT&T stood at $169 billion. My God, that's so much money. At the end of the first quarter in March, despite divestitures ranging from a 10% stake in Hulu to the new corporate headquarters building in Manhattan to anime brand Crunchyroll, the company estimates debt will decline to $154 billion by the end of 2021. They need money. They need money. They need to push HBO Max in order to get more people subscribing, in order to get more money. They're offloading shit like Crunchyroll. They've already like offloaded DirecTV. I mean, like they're consolidating what they bought. But still, the entertainment side of things is still going to be pretty big. All right. So AT&T February took a big step forward, moving the lagging satellite pay TV operator DirecTV off its balance sheet, selling 30% of it to a private equity firm. Yeah, they did all that shit. Okay. So given that AT&T makes more than 80% of its total revenue in the thriving area of wireless and broadband, with significant investments in 5G technology designed to keep things humming, entertainment has long been an uncertain fit. Time Warner and Direct TV deals were engineered by Randall Stephenson, who departed AT&T as CEO last year. Successor John Stankey is an AT&T lifer who has repeatedly articulated the virtue of marrying wireless assets with film and TV, but the execution of that has not bowled over investors. Yeah, because it's a very tricky one to navigate. And I get what he's trying to do. You know, he's like, hey, everyone has a phone. Everyone could get the content. We could give them the content on their phone. Quibi tried the same thing. That was their whole pitch. But during a pandemic, when no one's working, and you're not going to be selling a lot of that stuff. People aren't doing that kind of crap. You're not going to get it. Now it says here, AT&T's stock has been locked in a narrow range around $30 a share for the past 2 years, as rival media like Disney have seen their stocks prosper due to Wall Street enthusiasm about the progress of streaming because they have provided it with quality content. Provided it with quality content. That's what it boils down to here, folks. Quality. That's really what it's boiling down to. Hold on. Okay. Real quick here. Jacob, I didn't see the super checks. I was reading the article. He says here, will CW be gone if the merger happens? No, they're going to keep it because it's something that they have control over on television, and it does have an audience there. Okay. So let me just kind of go through the chat here. All right. Peacock has a free tier, which is a big draw. Yeah, the ad-supported thing's going to help out quite a bit. They're going to have to do that because people are like, I mean, how many streaming services do you have? I have Netflix, I have Amazon, I have Hulu, ad-free Hulu, Disney Plus, HBO Max. And I'm thinking I will drop Hulu to merge with Disney Plus, saving me a few bucks a month. And I'm probably going to cancel HBO Max. It's not to say that I want to. It's just that, like, you know what? I'll watch it again when Game of Thrones is a thing, right? But I'm not. Netflix, my kids watch Netflix daily. That's staying. And they watch Disney Plus daily. That's staying too. I watch a lot of Hulu. There's a lot of good movies on Hulu. A lot of good movies in HBO Max as well. But at the same time, it's like, is the juice worth the squeeze? And right now, even with the Snyder Cut, like, give me the ability to buy that on 4K. And the big reason why I got HBO Max in the first place is kind of gone. You know, and Amazon, I order a lot. So it's included with a subscription service that I already use. So there's that. Okay, so Music Man here says, will JJ's DC be only in theaters or on HBO Max? Look, at the movies will totally be in theaters. JJ is a proven box office draw. He's a proven box office win. He rebooted Star Trek, however you want to feel about that. He rebooted Star Wars, however you want to feel about that. This is what the executives are going to argue when it comes to JJ's content. He rebooted all of this stuff. He has clearly made a lot of money for these other companies. What can he do for us with this? I wouldn't be surprised if at some point, maybe even right now, because of this whole thing, if JJ doesn't like come on in and just go like, I want to direct Man of Steel 2. Right? Or another Superman. I have this great script called Superman Flyby from 2004. He could use this right now to come on in and go like, I will reboot Superman. Ha, 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 ha. You know, something like that. He could try it. Let's see here. Fourth here says, I'm canceling HBO Max. Movies have been terrible minus the Snyder Cut. Now there's some good movies on there, dude. There's some good movies on there. One thing I want to do is, again, I'm waiting for one person to see Army of the Dead, and then I want to do like a discussion on it. But I'd also like to, because I do audio commentary, but I do that myself. And I'd like to just kind of like have discussions about movies on HBO Max or Netflix or Amazon or whatever, that people, you know, that we have access to, that people may want to get in on and like build a community there. Like I posted that thing, like, I'm thinking, honestly, Netflix is the way to go on that because everyone has Netflix. Everyone has it. James here says, must remember Warner Brothers is bigger than Disney in Australia with Bugs Bunny and Daffy and more recognizable than Mickey and Donald. And we don't even have the Disney Channel here. Yeah, well, what's the population of Australia? Isn't it like 30 some odd million or something like that? Population of Australia, 25.36 million. So yeah, I mean, it's not there, but that ain't like the most people on the planet. You know what I mean? All right. H-Bart's here. $5. Thank you, man. Says, if JJ's Superman flops, it would be funny if they go back to Henry. Well, Henry was cast in JJ's original Superman. Superman Flyby. That script cast Henry Cavill as Clark. Mick G was going to direct it. They moved the production to Australia, and Mick G said, F that. I don't want to fly to Australia. So he dropped. J.J. Abrams comes out, and he's all like, I'll do it. And Warner Brothers told him to pound sand. So they canceled it, and they gave it to Bryan Singer, who, did Superman Returns, pitched them an idea to follow in line with Donner. So, like, Warner's has never had a good track record with branching outward. They did with Man of Steel, and that's a controversial Superman movie. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we're going to have to wait and see on that one, right? All right, the last sane one here says, the fact that Warner Brothers and Disney are being friendly, is it a sign of the end times? How are they being friendly? Are you talking about Warner Brothers and NBC being friendly? Because, I kind of get it a little bit. I kind of get it. Something there to consider there. All right. Skywalker Brian says, doesn't it feel like we are in an unusual time? The studios are going after studios for mergers and competition in the market. Doesn't feel the same anymore. No. Well, we're in the streaming world. That's the whole point. We're in the streaming games, if you will. All right. And so, like, everyone has to, the thing is, like, it's like, think of it like a game of the Hunger Games. All right. Or, some kind of elimination process. Think about it like that. Okay. So what happens is the fact that right now you've got, everyone is trying to be the top dog. Everyone is trying to be the victor. Right. And so in some cases you've got Netflix, who's like the alpha Chad, it's like, so bro. Right. And they do their thing. Disney's on the up and coming. They're nipping at Netflix's heels, but everyone else is like, how the fuck do we get to third place? Or how do we survive? So what they do is they're trying to form alliances in order to kind of, either topple the competition or just secure their place in the pecking order on the King of the Hill. Like, that's really what it boils down to. So a lot of people, I think, at this point are like, these companies, I think, are just trying to figure it out as time goes on. Geeks here says, JJ is doing a TV series for HBO Max, that DC property like Constantine. Yeah, he's touching. Yeah, they've talked about Constantine. Zatanna is going to be a TV show. Justice League Dark's going to be a TV show. He's building a universe on HBO Max. That's what he's trying to do. And they're going to tie it into whatever they're going to do theatrically. And that's what they want to do. That's what Bad Robot was paid $500 million to do. And that's why he now has more control and more of a say-so in regards to the way that the DCEU is going to operate. And I don't think that this merger is going to have any real impact on that whatsoever. Sorry. Hamada, I don't see Hamada going anywhere. Hamada burgers all around. All right. H-Bart's here, $5 say, sources say Disney is looking to buy $3 Theater. I get called a Disney shill all the time. People are like, why don't you hate Disney? And I'm like, you know what? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Mandalorian is my jam. I love that show. Luke Skywalker's Return made me, at the time, a 38-year-old man, break down in tears. I like Disney. Like, I spent the whole morning like researching Disney cruises and Walt Disney World and like which way we want to go. And then realizing that I'm going to need to like rob a bank in order to afford it. Seriously. Like, to get on like the Disney Wish, the new Disney cruise liner, like just to go, let's say September 2022, 2 adults, 2 kids, 4 days, $9,200, not including airfare. $9,200. Like, that is how much it's going to cost, dude. This is insane. Anyway, sources say $3 Theater is set to merge with Geeks and Gamers. Oh man, hell no. He'd have to pay me a lot of money. Anyway, real quick though, but Geeks here brings up a great point. He says, and Disney and Sony did the deal a couple weeks ago, which is true. After Sony did a deal with Netflix, which is kind of funny. But yeah, Disney is the better bet for Sony. Sony doesn't. The only thing that Disney wants from Sony is Spider-Man. Let's just be real here. That's the only thing they want. Amazon's got a good deal with Sony for The Boys and a bunch of other shows, and doing that with Netflix. Sony is playing the game of kind of giving everyone a little bit of something, because they don't want to get into the streaming company. Like they don't want to get into that whole thing. They would just rather license out the content and make their money that way, which is fine. And I kind of see that being the case down the road. But right now it's this mad dash scramble for all of these companies to try to figure it all out. So it's just kind of crazy. H Bart's here, $2. Thank you, sir. It says JJ better finish something for once. Oh, I'm sure he won't. Look, I don't have faith in JJ Abrams to finish it, to be honest with you. I just don't. Look, I like JJ Abrams. I watch whatever he makes. If he gave me a Cloverfield 2 that was a proper sequel to Cloverfield, I'd probably blow the guy, just to be honest with you. I would just be like, look, dude, just shoot it right in we'll be good. Dang. Anyway, all right. No, we'll do call-ins, but again, we're going to keep it short. It's 30 minutes into the show. We'll do another 20 minutes or so of some call-ins. There's the link right there. But again, if you're going to call in, have a topic, keep it short, and we'll go from there. All right. Jacob here asking the question, do you think Sony will go bankrupt in the future? No, they got PlayStation division, and that's like making them bank. And the fact that the PlayStation 5 right now is currently out of people's hands to get it, like a lot of people want it. It's building up that hype. Scalpers are making a lot of cash, but all Sony's got to do is like hold on to a stockpile and then just release it. And a lot of people can buy it, and then people will be buying on that. But the thing is, though, too, if Sony does something like Microsoft's Game Pass, which they're talking about now doing because PlayStation now kind of sucks, then that would be something that would be, again, we're going into the world where everything's going to be a subscription service. Everything's going to be a subscription service. And we already pay for a lot. Like I pay for Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. That's $120 a year. And I haven't even hooked in my Xbox in like 8 months. So I'm paying for something that I'm just not using. Like I could use that $60 to like buy a game or fix my car a little bit or something along those lines. So it's like, we pay for this kind of crap all the time. I pay $3 a month for Instapaper, access to Instapaper Premium, because it has a text to speech function. And while I'm in the car doing deliveries, I can listen to Wikipedia articles. I pay $3 a month for that. Like it is what it is. All right, let's see here. When JJ finishes, what's the twist? Someone's pregnant. That's how it's going to be. Skywalker Briner says, I feel Blumhouse can be underrated, to be the underrated dog for some of the properties. For Peacock, yeah, sure, man. But they have a deal with HBO, I believe, too. All right. Yeah, I believe if Cloverfield 2 would be a redemption, I agree. Or a Mission Impossible movie. I thought Mission Impossible 3 was fantastic. Asher here says, unrelated, but Quibi shows come back on Wednesday to the Roku channel. Damn straight they do. I can finally catch up on everything. I was wrong, apparently. McQuan here says, History Channel is not owned by Discovery. It's owned by A&E Networks, which is also 50% owned by Disney. So you're telling me that like Aliens is owned by Disney. God damn it, they own everything. They're telling us all this to keep us in the dark about the real aliens. Jacob here saying Jarbo is the GOAT. Thank you. Appreciate that. Music Manager says, how did PlayStation stop being top dog? No, it's still top dog. It is still top dog. You just can't get one. Brownstones here says, I wonder how many WarnerMedia executives will stay with the merger. I think, quite frankly, most of them, because they're going to need people to come on in and actually like end up running things, right? Like this is the whole point. Now, I'm being told right now that apparently Keelar will get demoted and heads will roll is what I'm being told. Okay. That's coming in from someone that could be good. Could be bad. We'll see on that. Maybe it will be. Peacock has a deal for HBO Max with the Potter franchise. Well, that was a pre-existing deal between Warner's and Universal. So it's kind of like what was it? TBS had that deal for the Star Wars movies, right, till 2025, and then Disney worked a deal with them. But I think like like they bought them out, so anything could happen. And then I see people have come on in, so we'll get to them here in a second. But I want to get to Thomas Carroll here. $2 Australian. Will 4K Blu-ray be the last physical format? Yeah, probably. Probably. I'm just going to say that that's probably the case. Yeah. I would argue at this point that's kind of where we are. All right. So we got James calling on.
Hey, man.
What's up, dude?
Yeah, just had 2 things I need to tell you.
All right. What is that?
Okay. First of all, 20th Century has announced they're making a Cheetos movie. So it's going to be called Flaming Hot. And it's going to be about a man who's inspired through his Hispanic heritage and his love of Chester Cheetah to make a new kind of Flaming Hot Cheetos.
Is that why the Flaming Hot story has been flying around? I've seen the headlines. Yeah, but I haven't actually. Eva Longoria Cheetos Flaming. Oh my God. Oh my. Hold on.
They're making a movie.
Oh my. What do they do? Oh, this is why. Look, here's the thing.
Disney, man.
The thing. Disney's gonna. They must have just worked a new deal with Frito-Lay or whatever. All right, Eva Longoria, Cheetos movie Flamin' Hot sets Jesse Garcia and Annie Gonzalez as leads. Okay, Jesse Garcia from Quinceañera will play Richard Montanez, the architect of the Flaming Hot Cheeto, and Annie Gonzalez of Gentified will portray his wife, Judy, in the Eva Longoria feature directorial debut Flaming Hot from Searchlight Pictures and Franklin Entertainment. All right, so as Deadline first told you, because I got to make sure that they got that scoop in there, right? Of all the things they want to claim ownership of, we told you guys first about this movie. Flaming Hot tells the true life story of Richard Montanez, the Frito-Lay janitor who took inspiration from his Mexican-American heritage to create Flaming Hot Cheetos, the snack that disrupted the food industry. It became a pop culture phenomenon. What am I reading? Desperate Housewives actress and telenovela Grand Hotel and Devious Maids EP Longoria beat out several directors for the job after impressing Franklin and Searchlight with her authentic approach to the project. Sure. Okay. I mean, okay.
This is going to bomb.
Well, maybe not.
The fan base consists of 12-year-old kids who play Xbox Live and stoners.
Yeah, no, I get that. But think of it like this. Okay. Think of it like this. Okay. You got the underdog story. Okay. You've got a man, janitor, proud Hispanic man, loves his heritage, loves his people, loves his culture, loves Cheetos. Because who doesn't love Cheetos? They're fantastic. So after he's just, he's trying to build his life up better. He's trying to pick himself up by his bootstraps, and he's working this really, terrible janitor job, but he's in the halls of Cheetos. And he looks around him every night. He looks around and he's inspired by everything. He's just inspired by it all. And then he goes home one day with a bag of Cheetos and he ends up accidentally pouring some cilantro lime seasoning on it. And it burns his tongue. And he's like, this is great. Then he fights Chester the Cheetah to the death in order to make the fucking cookie. I don't know how they're going to pull this off, man. Yeah,
Cash right here. It's not going to play well internationally.
It's going to go to streaming, dude. This is going to go straight to streaming. This is going to go to Hulu, right? Like they're not going to be able to find it. They're not going to be able to find a market for this, but maybe again, lazy ass mofos who sit at home and smoke weed all the time. They could be the ones that just bomb on in and just go like, yeah. I want to see the Cheetos movie. Because look, all things considered, what if it ends up being a hit? It could happen. It could easily happen. Like, did you see the did you see the Cheetos movie? I did. It wasn't bad. In fact, it was kind of funny. I didn't realize that was a true story. But now Cheetos is coming out and they're like, the Cheetos is actually coming out and they're saying that they're disputing the story. All right. This is true too. This actually popped up yesterday, or well, because it's after midnight now here, it popped up there, but it's saying here that Frito-Lay now disputes the story. So now we're getting drama. That's how it's going to work. Right. Because, Searchlight Pictures and Eva Longoria is like, we're going to tell the story of a proud Hispanic man who invented the most disruptive snack food on the market ever made, Flaming Hot Cheetos. And then Frito-Lay is all like, fuck that shit. He's a liar. I mean, which is so stupid. Why would you even dispute this story at all? Because it's only going to, it serves as literal marketing.
Legal reasons. If he invented the flavor, he would then be legally entitled to royalties, and they would have to pay him a lot of money.
Yeah, I got to give it up to Fourth 1000 here real quick. He chimes in with saying, I'd rather watch Cheat Hose. Triple S. Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's a fantastic. Mwah. Chef's kiss. And then Dio Brando immediately says, it ain't easy being cheesy. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you about the royalties thing here. Let's see what they say, though. All right. If we just get a statement. I just want a statement. Okay, so the story says Montanez first started mentioning that he had invented Flaming Hot Cheetos in the late 2000s, nearly 2 decades after they were invented. He would give speeches at local businesses and philanthropy and award ceremonies. So he would market himself as the man who invented Flaming Hot Cheetos, and people would be like, "Sir, we need you to come and speak at this event, and talk about your disruptive." Your snack disruption. But here's the thing, though. Meanwhile, Frito-Lay didn't actually stop him. That's an issue right there. In fact, it didn't seem to notice or care that he was taking credit until the actual inventor, Lynn Greenfeld, reached out to the company to ask what was going on. Frito-Lay launched an investigation and determined that Montanez definitely did not invent Flaming Hot Cheetos. Former CEO Al Carey disputes this somewhat, saying that the Flaming Hot Cheetos we know today would not have happened with Montanez, even if he was just a charismatic leader that helped push the team into making it a hit. The LA Times goes into what it seems to be the actual story, which is significantly less heartwarming than Monty. Yeah, it's a corporate thing. Of course it's going to be less heartwarming, right? What do you want here? What we want is an underdog story about a Hispanic janitor inventing, Flaming Hot Cheetos. The bane of all existence of parents, when your child wants one and then they get the Cheeto dust and they go, oh my, they rub their eyes, their nose and their mouth. And then all of a sudden they're flaming in their face and they smear Cheeto dust everywhere, but we want the story of the underdog because we love underdog stories. But the company here is all like, oh, anyway, it says the final line here. I love this here. The producers of the biopic, despite being informed of problems by Frito-Lay, in 2019 announced the cast of the movie in early May. That is wonderful. So it's an absolute load of crap. 100% load of crap.
This could open them up to lawsuits.
No, it's not. They're going to say based on a true story. They're going to say based on a true story because that's how you get around it. When you say something is based on a true story, it gives you carte blanche to change literally everything.
Not internationally.
Well, we're going to talk about America. Well, I mean, you know what? Maybe they won't release it.
They either release it only in America, in which case Disney will lose a lot of money, or they release it internationally and risk being sued internationally.
Maybe, but they've apparently found a way to make it work, and the lawyers have apparently signed off on it because it's already in production. So I have to wait and see. I'm not disagreeing with you on it, but there's a lot of leeway when it comes to these stories, and unless Frito-Lay themselves sues them, which it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case.
I don't think they will. I'm just saying it's a risk.
Everything in life is a risk. Yeah. I mean, how many people? I just love the fact that they're trying to create this it's like, okay. I mean, hold on here. Cause this is have you ever heard about who invented peanut butter?
No.
All right. So peanut butter was invented, as I've been told, by an American agricultural scientist named George Washington Carver. All right. Now he was apparently a peanut guy. And that was his thing. But I just read the other day that he did not invent peanut butter. Let's see. Okay. So it says here that Carver is credited with saving the agricultural economy of the rural South. And he developed approximately 300 products made from peanuts. And this included flour, paste, insulation, paper, wallboard, wood stains, soap, shaving cream, and skin lotion. I would like to shave with peanut extract, with peanut oil. That could be fascinating, right? But did he? Now the peanut butter that we knew. I mean, like, did he? Hold on. Did he invent peanut butter? Because that's kind of the thing. And people
peanut
believe
paste is a word that can be substituted for peanut butter.
Perhaps, but the way we currently interpret it. So, according to the National Peanut Board, which is a real thing, they said, contrary to popular belief, George Washington Carver did not invent peanut butter, and but he found other uses for it. Right. So it's like there was a story written in like 1912 or something like that, popularizing about how the bathtub got popularized in America, right? And the story had said that Milton Fillmore, I think that's the name of our president, like had put it in the White House, and then that's what it did. That's the story. It's not real. That's not how it happened at all, but people believe that it's real because that's kind of how it's been repeated throughout history. So people believe all these things because that's just what, people never read past the headline in many instances. So what we are in, so again, it's funny to me. I'm actually going to have to talk about this on the Stranger Days podcast.
Okay. Also, Lionsgate, I want to get your thoughts on that. Did you hear what happened with them?
No.
Okay. Basically, Spiral just came out.
Yeah.
Underperformed badly.
I don't know if I'd say underperformed badly. The movie actually, in regards to, let's say, where most movies are right now, it's actually kind of performing on point, at least here in the States.
Factoring in pandemic, Lionsgate was expecting $20 million opening weekend. It got $9 million.
That was dumb on Lionsgate's fault. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, but Lionsgate's
stupid.
now blaming the franchise.
Are they? I mean, well, it sounds like Lionsgate. When's the last time Lionsgate has done anything worthwhile? I mean
John Wick 3.
Okay, outside of the John Wick franchise, and
they did Expendables 3.
All right. Well, I mean, that movie got leaked online
and Rambo.
DVD. Yeah, they did. Did they do Last Blood as well? Was that Last Blood?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked Last Blood. My point is that that's already established stuff. They did establish the John Wick franchise. And Geeks here is like Hunger Games. That was also a long time ago. That's like 2014 is when that ended. No.
They also did a big boo-boo though with Twilight.
Well, Twilight was originally Summit, and then Lionsgate acquired Summit, I think personally, in order just to put out to get money off the Twilight franchise.
Oh, Purge. That's
Purge is Universal.
Lionsgate.
That's Universal.
Oh, right. That's right. No, it is.
Yeah, it's under.
They did there's something else they did that I'm trying to remember.
Well, I mean, they used to be a lot bigger of a player. They really haven't been. Their television side of things, though, I think is still doing pretty good.
Yeah, that's doing fine.
So that's
okay. I think the problem they now face, though, is Saw is not doing what they were hoping it would do. Hunger Games is getting a new prequel, but that'll probably underperform too after mocking they fucked up the original franchise.
Yeah.
They didn't do the books justice, I don't think.
Well, in many situations, they never do the books justice. I mean, can you tell me a movie that has ultimately done the book justice, like point for point? There's always adaptations. There's always going to be changes. I mean, as much as I love the Harry Potter franchise, I have serious gripes with stuff they've left out.
Look, I'll say this. The first movie was nothing but shaky cam. Like, I swear they ran out of money to buy tripods for the first Hunger Games.
Oh, that was also the director. That was the director. When they went to Francis Lawrence for like the second, third and fourth movie, it got a lot better. Chasing
Yeah, but
Fire,
the
I still think
problem-
is the best one of the franchise, though.
The problem. Oh yeah, I won tickets to the premiere of that. Catching Fire.
Cool.
Local premiere, not international.
I went and saw, was it Hunger Games? Like, it was right before my 30th birthday. It came out right before my 30th birthday. And my friend, I got invited to go see it in downtown Burbank with like two guys I knew who are like well within like their late 40s. And they're like, you want to go see Hunger Games? I'm like, all right. Want to see it in IMAX? All right. Like, the movie was.
I think the problem was they broke Mockingjay up into part 1 and part 2, and they extended that one longer than it needed to be. And then the first two movies were like.
Well, what
first movie was
happened
shaky,
in Mockingjay
came
Part
garbage.
1? What happened in
Nothing.
Part 1? Nothing. Nothing in Part 1 of Mockingjay.
Yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
what killed the franchise, Mockingjay Part 1.
Oh, yeah. Like, well, because I still think Catching Fire is the best made of the four films. Catching Fire was good.
Oh, yeah, no, it was. It was.
But so the hype coming off of Catching Fire was really high, and then you go into this like 2-hour movie where Katniss is in like this real, she's just depressed the whole movie, and like nothing really happens, and then you have to wait a whole other year for Mockingjay Part 2 to come out, and you see Part 2, and you're like, all right, like, like I haven't ever had the real idea to go back and watch those movies again, but I mean maybe one day.
Yeah, Part 1 they added in all this stuff, but then Part 2 they cut out like the trial of Katniss where she's found like criminally insane. They cut that out.
Well, I think yeah. They don't want to, they need to streamline some of the stuff on that.
But yeah, basically the prequel's not going to do well. We've got Saw, which is kind of, I think Spiral was a good movie, I thought, but it's not doing the numbers it needs to. So Expendables is finished. All they have left is John Wick, and I'm really worried.
Well, no,
Lionsgate
Expendables 4 and 5 are
struggling.
on the horizon. Expendables
I
4
thought
and
they
5
canned those.
Did they can't? I thought they were doing number 4. I know John Wick 4
I don't know,
and 5, and then they're doing like spin-offs and stuff as well.
Oh yeah, John Wick's definitely still going.
Yeah, well, that's the
Could be
thing.
wrong.
Is like that's the thing. Lionsgate used to have a microfilm division that would do 10 movies a year at a budget of $1 million. And if one of those paid off, then it would do well. But I think where Lionsgate did really well was like, see, Lionsgate kind of overplayed their hand as time went on. They kept like spending more money on these bigger YA properties, but then they also did Divergent, which crashed and burned to the point of where they split the last book into 2 movies, and part 3 did so bad that they just decided to not finish the franchise, which I think effectively
Maze Runner
killed.
was the same.
Well, no, they finished Maze Runner. Maze Runner was only 1, 2, and 3. They didn't do it. They didn't split the last
They
book
didn't
into
do
2.
the third movie.
They did the third movie. Yes, they did. Because Wes Ball, who directed all 3, had said because of the Hunger Games being split and Twilight being split and Divergent being split, that he wasn't going to split the Maze Runner.
I thought they only did 2 movies.
No, there was Maze Runner. I know there was the Death Cure, and then there was the last one, whatever it was called, Maze Runner franchise. Because I really liked the first Maze Runner.
I know, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Scorch Trials. The Scorch Trials was the second one. Then the Death Cure was in 2018. The reason why you might think about the Death Cure taking forever had a lot to do with the Dylan O'Brien got injured while they were shooting it, and like it took a lot of time off. It took a lot of time
That
for them
could
to finish
explain
it.
why I've never heard of it.
Yeah, but the thing is though, the 3 total films in general, like combined, that franchise had earned $949 million worldwide at the box office. Those 3 movies, and they were not the most expensive. The budget for all 3 was $157 million, and it brought in $950 million. So there was money.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think the question is, what can Lionsgate do going forward? Because now they've basically hit a wall where they've got John Wick, not much else going on. What can they do?
Let's see here. Lionsgate franchises. They could always do Dogma 2. Because they've got, because they were that was originally Artisan Entertainment, and Lionsgate is who distributed. So according to Lionsgate franchises, Expendables, Hunger Games, John Wick, Saw, Twilight Saga. Well, they are wanting to reboot Twilight. That is true.
I think
They've also
even
they've got
even Lionsgate's theme park division is struggling.
where do they have a theme park at?
They have multiple. They have a Soarland in London's Thorpe Park. They have a Hunger Games land in Dubai, and they have a whole Lionsgate theme park in Zhuhai, China.
Really? Like they have a Hunger
And
Games in
they have
Dubai?
two
I feel like that's
cancelled
very
parks.
appropriate. I feel like that's very
They
same with
have
London. Same
two
with London.
cancelled-
Wait, what?
They have a cancelled Lionsgate park in Atlanta, a cancelled Lionsgate park in New York, and a cancelled Lionsgate park in South Korea.
Wow. Yeah. See, Dark Beast here says a Saw theme park. Sign me up. Well, the thing is though, like what I love about that is that it's in London, where like there's almost like no gun crime, but it's all stabbings. So I just kind of feel it falls in line. It's like living in a Saw movie anyway. You never know what's going to happen in London. You could get stabbed.
The real irony is that the Lionsgate entire theme park in China has a Hunger Games ride, a Hunger Games restaurant, and walk around peacekeeper characters.
Man,
Perfect for China.
Yeah. You know what would be perfect for China would be a Demolition Man world. You know, you've been
Be
fined
better.
3 credits from for just existing. Did you say free Hong Kong? No, I didn't say anything. No. I said death to Hong Kong because it's traitorous. I mean, I kind of feel like that would be the equivalent of like in like northwestern Jerusalem, them making Gaza world or something like that. It just doesn't seem like the right thing to ever do. It's like, no, it's a bad idea. You should not do it. Terrible idea. Never do it.
I was surprised to learn that the Hunger Games isn't banned in the Middle East or China, but it is banned in Vietnam.
Because they don't want to remind people they're hungry in Vietnam. Yeah, I don't know. No,
Vietnam doesn't have food shortages.
I know. I'm just making a stupid, terrible joke.
Yeah, I think it's because they were like more worried about it making their government look bad or something, or drawing a comparison.
Oh, that could happen. Yeah, that can be a
Although
thing.
the official reason is it was like senseless violence towards children. Officially, that's why it's banned, but the real reason is government.
Well, I kind of feel like that's how it is in most places. Like how much stuff is banned in Indonesia. Like how much is banned? Rick, remember when Beauty and the Beast came out and they had like the hint of a gay character, which really was nothing in the movie outside of like one shot where LeFou looked at that guy and then he kind of smiled and that was literally it. And like Russia banned the movie instead of cutting like 17 seconds. They just banned the movie and then it's like they banned it because it's got a gay character in it. Like that kind of shit happens. Like, remember Rise of Skywalker when the 2 women kiss at the end of the movie? That didn't play in China. That didn't play
anywhere outside of pretty much
it's like they cut it
America,
out.
Australia, and Europe.
They just were like, Americans are going to care about this one. Europeans will care about this one. The rest of the world is going to be living in the fundamental dark ages. But because it's like, I remember like Wonder Woman was banned. I forget in which country because Gal Gadot is Israeli. Like she's
an Israeli veteran. That's why. She was a veteran.
No, it was not because she was a veteran. I think it's because she was just Israeli. The whole, even though it doesn't matter, it's like still, it's like that kind.
It's dumb.
It's so stupid, to ban this shit. But again, people just want to control. But there's money. It's like look at Coca-Cola, by the way. So World War II, Coca-Cola banned in Germany, banned in Nazi Germany. Couldn't get it. Couldn't ship it in.
So they
what
made
did Coke
Fanta.
do? They made Fanta. IBM banned, but they still built the fucking Enigma machine. Like, these companies find a way because their bottom line is to get money. That's their bottom line. So yeah,
Sounds like why they have Mecha Cola in Iran.
They have Mecha Cola?
Yeah, it's called Mecha Cola. It's in Iran.
As in like Mecca, right? Like
the city of Mecca.
Or like, the pilgrimage or whatever. I get that, yeah. And then, of course, it's New Mecha Cola. Anyway, Dark Beast here says, it did get us Fanta. So that was a plus of World War II. Yeah. Yeah, I like Fanta. Like we had Fanta at my old theater. We had orange Fanta, and I'm all like, I'm gonna get so fat drinking this thing, and I did. So anyway,
Yeah, I'm just saying basically, yeah, Lionsgate, massive. I don't know what they can do.
Look, the thing with Lionsgate is they need to invest into something new. Like John Wick in 2014 when that thing came out. Find something new, build an audience around it, actually like invest into it. Don't just try to make young adult movies again because people don't really care about that. That's kind of off the market now. That fad is dead for the time being. And then from there, go out and like try to build it up again. Lionsgate used to kind of be the bleeding edge. They would kind of do things that a lot of other companies wouldn't put out there. And then they got some hits and then they got complacent. Now we are where we are.
And they're still salty about the fact people call them a mini major studio instead of a major.
I always thought they were a major. The mini major thing makes sense.
Considered mini major.
Well, I always gave them the respect, so they should hire me.
Yeah.
To talk. There we go. I gave them the
3
respect.
mini majors, man. STX, MGM, and Lionsgate.
I mean, look, the thing, of course, it's like, it's not a dig. If you're making money and you're making movies and you're influencing people, Jesus Christ, get the hell over it.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go.
All right, man. Thank you very much. And we'll talk again soon. All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Thank you very much, James. All right. So real quick here. Fourth year says Allah Akbar. Jesus. Ad Haraj asks, is the rumor true that DCEU and Arrowverse are merging in the Flash movie? I mean, like, it feels that way because you had the Flash Ezra show up in Grant Gustin's show. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows at this point in time? Let's see here. Dark Beast says, but yeah, making the gay character who was into the toilet was such a shitty representation. No pun intended. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. All right. All right. Fourth year says only young adult movies they can do are anime adaptations done right. Well, yeah, but even then, Demon Slayer is making bank, and that movie is it's subtitled here in the States. Geeks here says, Matt, you forgot that Lionsgate did Hellboy. I can't find it, but no, I have the 4K of Hellboy right over here. I didn't forget. As much as people out there did forget, I liked Hellboy 2019. I did. I liked it quite a bit, actually. I thought it was a good movie. It was a fun movie, and they done effed up by not keeping it going. All right. I did drop the link, and only James and Anthony here.
Yo, man,
I caught him off guard on purpose. Hey, man.
So, I'm doing great.
You doing good? All right. It's 3:30 in the morning your time. You're wired. Yeah. How much cocaine are you on, sir?
I'm not I don't do drugs.
I disagree. I think you should. I'm kidding. But all right, so you're pumped up, you're ready to go, you're all excited. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm all excited about this Snake Eyes trailer.
Wait, I haven't seen it yet. I got home from work and I just kind of immediately came to go do this.
I saw some ridiculous wrestling tonight.
Oh, really?
With some zombies, you know.
Oh yeah, I heard about that too. That they taken over. I don't know what it was, but I heard that it was a thing.
I know, and a father and son won a tag team belt.
Cool. I don't follow wrestling. I'm so bored by wrestling. I know it's a weird thing. It just never spoke to me. Outside of when I was a kid.
I'm doing good and everything. I didn't watch the MTV Movie Awards.
Neither did I. I didn't even know what was happening.
I had spaghetti for dinner.
That's good.
Mm-hmm.
So is there a movie related topic that you want to cover real quick?
Well, movie related topic, it's got to be the year 1995.
Okay. What came out in
95 was a great year for me. I was 12 years old.
Okay. And I'm assuming you saw Mortal Kombat in 95.
Yes, I saw it in my uncle's house, Uncle Mike in New Jersey at the time. Back then he had puffy hair.
So what else came out in 95 that you liked?
Die Hard with a Vengeance, Batman Forever.
Okay. Both. I will agree with both.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie.
Ivan the Ooze, baby. Ivan the Ooze.
I got that
first
on tape.
Was it Species also dropped that year too?
Species,
right? First Night with Sean Connery and Richard Gere, I think came out that year as well.
There's so many.
Dredd was in
Dredd,
95.
Judge Dredd, Casper,
Judge Dredd was in 95. Yeah.
Casper,
Oh my God, Casper.
Toy Story.
Oh yeah.
Priest. There's this movie called Priest.
I didn't see that one.
What else? Came out in 95. Captain Marvel set in 95.
Well, it's set in. I mean, I know they showed the True Lies stand up and the Blockbuster, but that came out in 94. So,
but 95. What else came out? Great year, great movie that came out in 95. Mallrats.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mallrats was good.
Love that movie.
I'm looking here through a list. We've got Desperado, which is one of my favorites.
Bad Boys.
Yeah, we got GoldenEye was a good one.
GoldenEye. Toy Story.
Yep. You got Hackers. That was a fun one. Major Pain.
Major Pain. Live like the rest. Die like the rest.
Didn't see that one here. Under Siege 2 came out in 1995. Wow. Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme came out. I remember seeing that one.
It's a guilty pleasure. I haven't seen that one either.
Westworld came out in 95.
Westworld.
Didn't know that. We have Vampire in Brooklyn, that Eddie Murphy movie.
Indian in the Cupboard, Pocahontas.
Oh yeah. I'm just like looking through this like list of like action
Pocahontas I got on VHS.
Okay, that's going. Money Train was pretty good. Woody Harrelson.
Money Train, awesome. I have the tape of it.
Johnny Mnemonic.
What?
Johnny Mnemonic came out.
Johnny Mnemonic. I was 12 years old, living in Glendale, New Jersey at the time. Uncle Mike had the puffy hair.
I'm not too familiar with that one. Oh, is that your Mike? Your Uncle Mike had puffy hair?
Yeah, but now he's bald head.
Oh, okay. Just like you. So did you take your hairstyle from your uncle?
I used to have a lot of hair. 95, I made my communion.
Okay. Oh yeah. I'm not Catholic, so I never had that myself.
I used to be Catholic, but I don't want to talk about it here. What else came out in 95?
The Net.
Good movie.
What else came out in here? You have I'm looking at some of the action movies here, like what was it?
Higher Learning.
Higher Learning. I thought that was 94, but I mean it could be. It could be.
Higher Learning is 95.
Apollo 13.
OMG.
Casino. Braveheart.
Casino was great. I like the Joe Bob Briggs cameo.
Oh, I haven't seen Casino actually. Leaving Las Vegas came out.
Leaving Las Vegas. Nicolas Cage won the Oscar for that.
Yeah. Dangerous Minds came out. With Michelle
Minds.
Pfeiffer.
I got the tape of it in storage. I got a whole bunch of stuff in storage.
Empire.
Balto came out. Balto.
Oh yeah, yes. Cutthroat Island came out.
That was the final nail in Colico's coffin.
And whose coffin?
The company, the movie company, Colico.
Oh yeah, I like Cutthroat Island actually. I worked for a movie. The director Rennie Harlan. I worked on one of his movies in 2012, and I mentioned that I'm a big Rennie Harlan fan. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I love Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger and The Long Kiss Goodnight, and I even loved. Okay, wow, we're getting a lot of feedback there, Anthony.
Yeah. Okay. So what else came out?
Oh, I mentioned the Cutthroat Island and the producers of the movie are like,
Congo.
we don't talk about
Congo.
Oh, yeah, Congo, yeah.
Congo 95. And 95 was a great year for me.
A lot of Clueless came out.
Clueless.
What else? The last Mel Brooks movie came out in 95. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Weird to think that's been 26 years.
I don't know.
Billy Madison came out in 95.
Billy Madison, I love it. I like to take that Heine. Good movie. Black Sheep. I think Black Sheep came out in 95.
No, you're thinking Tommy Boy came out in 95.
Tommy Boy, my mistake.
Tommy Boy came out.
Devil in a Blue Dress.
Yeah, that maybe did. I don't see it up here necessarily.
Crimson Tide.
That one did come out, yeah. We've got Problem Child 3, which was a made-for-TV movie. Get Shorty came out in 1995.
Get Shorty, I have the tape of it.
Friday came out in 95.
Friday, I have the Friday tape in my dungeon right over there, my bedboard.
Nice. And also, Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything.
Julie Newmar. And hip-hop was big in 95.
Rumble in the Bronx came out, the very first American Jackie Chan movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I was living in Glendale at the time.
Oh, you've said that. Yeah, you definitely said that. A lot of stuff came out that year. 100%, man. Well, hey, dude, I'm gonna let you go, and we'll talk again later.
And I
Okay,
watch
buddy?
Army of the Dead for you. I watch it. How is it, by the way?
Which one?
Army of the Dead.
It was good. I liked it.
Don't spoil it. No spoilers. Okay?
I'm not gonna
You have a
spoil
good
it.
night.
You too, man. See you later. All right, thank you very much, Anthony. Okay, we're gonna do real quick here, John. Last one, quick topic, man.
Just going to theaters, Regal, seeing the Fast and Furious in the theater movies.
When does that come out? That's
Well, right now they're doing
June 25th. Okay.
Yeah, they're doing all the movies every Friday. Like every Friday at 7, they're putting the movie out for free in the theater.
Nice. I mean, I own all of those movies on Blu-ray, so I can just watch them whenever. But that'd be kind of cool to go see them again. I remember I've seen all of them in theaters, with the exception of Tokyo Drift, which I didn't see until like 2013. And because what it was is I'd always I liked 1, I liked 2. And then they took that delay, and then they came in with number 3, and I was like, well, it doesn't tie in, like I knew about the Vin Diesel cameo, but I'm like, it doesn't have the characters in it. So like, I don't really care. And then a couple years later in 2009, they're like, oh, we're kind of rebooting it with Fast and Furious, just bringing everybody back. I'm like, okay, well now I'm going to come back and get it. And then right before the release of Fast 6, I bought the Blu-ray from 1 through 5. And I bought that set, and I actually finally saw Tokyo Drift, and I was like, oh, wow, I was actually really happy with that movie. I liked it quite a bit. So they're fun. They're fun. Dark Beast here says that he's never seen the Fast and Furious films. They're not his jam. Dude, you got to check them out, because at this point, they're just superhero movies. They're just, here's the thing. Do 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 3, 7, 8. All right. Like, do 3 between 6 and 7. Trust me. A lot of people out there might disagree, but no, it ties into number 7. So you're going to have to that's the order.
Huh. Well, they're doing them in order in the theater. And once Fast and Furious was described to me as a live action Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner movie, then I understood the movies.
Well, that's a good way to describe it. But I mean, like, the very first movie was literally Point Break. It was the same story as Point Break.
Oh yeah, it was.
But we never got a Point Break sequel. We got a reboot a couple years ago.
Right.
And so yeah, they had a bunch of stuff there. But it's like, the Fast and Furious franchise has done something that you never really saw coming. And the thing is that I think the crew, the cast, they know exactly what it is, so they're going to keep it there. And then also, Astro Joshua says, I stopped after the 2009 one. You haven't seen Fast 5? Dude, go watch Fast 5. You can stop after Fast 5 if you want, but you got to watch Fast 5. Fast 5 is the best one.
Huh.
Yeah, they showed also new Loki and Black Widow footage came out tonight. Loki looks great. Black Widow, I thought the scene a little wonky, but I need to watch it again. But I liked the Owen Wilson and Tom Hiddleston conversations.
In 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, A Quiet Place Part 2 comes out. And
I have not seen A Quiet Place, so I need to watch it.
They got shut down like 2 days before that movie is supposed to premiere.
Yeah, I know people who've seen it. I know people who saw it last year, and I thought it was pretty funny. That they just ended up kind of getting I'm pretty certain it just disrupted everything. It just disrupted everything, and we're gonna have to wait and see what's going on here. But all right, man, I'm gonna let you go. I got to get to bed. Okay. It's almost like 1 a.m. here. But right. I appreciate you, John. So we'll talk again soon. All right, buddy.
No problem. Have a good one.
Thanks a lot, man. Have a good one, man. All right. So thank you everyone who came on in tonight and hung out. We had a decent crowd of over 80 people for a hot minute. That was pretty badass. Thank you to everyone who supported via Super Chats. If you want to smash that like button, you can do that. Or we can laugh real quick here, by the way, at something I put, a joke I made tonight real quick. there was a. So I wonder if is it on here? Did they do it? Because someone did it, and I got to find it. Okay, so at the MTV Movie Awards tonight, there was Scarlett Johansson had won, and she actually won an award, and then you had this whole thing take place. Let me make sure that's up. Okay, all right.
Of 10 years of work and one of the greatest.
And then just comes and dumps it on her head. Now, obviously, that whole thing is staged. But my joke here was someone is going to chroma that to be white, and it's going to be up on Pornhub by the end of the day. And I thought it was pretty funny because I got a few retweets and some likes and whatnot. Okay, but I got to find it here. Somebody actually did it, and they sent it to me. So I need to go and quickly look at that. I'll show you guys real quick. They didn't do it in the other one. Okay, so here we go. So they actually did it. You know, let's bring this up. I just wanted this to be like the last thing. It was so like, I mean, obviously my humor level is massively immature. But it's funny that we finally get things from Colin Jost's perspective. That's good. And so that, of course, is just my terrible joke of the day. Something that I just thought would be really funny to say on Twitter. And then I realized that, I probably shouldn't have said that. The fourth here says a dream fulfilled. There we go. But all right, guys, I'll be back on tomorrow night. Remember, if you guys have anything you want me to cover specifically, let me know on Twitter. We're just going to talk about whatever's going on. This was a big one today. We'll see tomorrow what the fallout might be. I'll talk to you all later. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night and peace out.